The Secret Lives of Baba Segi's Wives. Welcome once again to our cozy book lounge. Because I've read the book, when I looked at this pictorial representation of Baba Segi's wives, I thought this will be Iya Segi. This should be Iya Tope. And this should be Iya Femi. And this should be our Badi Bolanle. Hello amigos, welcome once again to our channel. We will be looking at the story of Baba Segi and his wives, obviously. Written by Lola Shoneyin. A little bit about Lola Shoneyin. This is her debut novel. She hails from the southwestern part of Nigeria as well, and she sets the story, also the story of this book, in the southwestern part of Nigeria. Her family has a strong literary background. She's the daughter-in-law of one of a renowned literature giants, Wole Soyinka. Before this her novel, she's written about 3 poems or thereabout. And the wonderful thing is that despite being her first prose, she's won about 2 awards for this novel and was also nominated for other awards as well. I think one of those awards were the 2011 ANA Ken Sarubiwa Prose Prize, and another one also 2011 Pen Oakland Josephine Miles Literary Award, something like that. She's known for her witty and bold expression of social issues, especially bordering around marriage, divorce, gender issues, societal issues. She did a great work by capturing the nitty-gritty of what happens in polygamous families, and a whole lot, to a great extent. Many Nigerian families are polygamous, and not just Nigeria, many African families are polygamous. And what she wrote here, with a bit of humor, is not far from reality. I could relate with so many things. The Secret Lives of Baba Segi is a story about Baba Segi and his wives and the secrets they were keeping. I'm not gonna spill. You have to read it to get the story. But stay with me, because we're gonna talk about the themes of the book and the characters, so you will have a glimpse of what the characters look like. So Baba Segi married these 3 wives, consecutively, kind of. And then when he married the 4th one, that was when the problem started. Or the problem had been subtle. But when he married the 4th one, the problem came to the surface. So let's talk about the themes in this book. I will start with the one I call the triple P's. Polygamy, patriarchy, power dynamics. And you already know who's at the center of this. Baba Segi. He is the one who's using polygamy to show how powerful he is, to show his influence, to show how affluent he is, that he can have a large family and he can keep a large family. And also we see power dynamics at play, not just between him and his wives, also amongst his wives. Most times in polygamy, husband and wife relationship are more of vertical, a husband the wife, and mostly it's the first wife, the second wife, the third wife. Although there are many instances where this hierarchy is being usurped. Instances where the man loves maybe the 3rd or the 4th wife more, and in many instances it happens like that because the last one sort of become the favorite, so despite the fact that they are the favorite, it doesn't move them up above the first one. It doesn't move them up above the first one. They still have way, but they know between themselves who has the larger share, the larger portion of the love. Oh my goodness. You can imagine that. Okay, so this is the power play, the patriarchy, the polygamy, and this is what happens in polygamy. Everybody have their space. You see that hierarchy, you see that vertical relationship. Nobody plays with it. Everybody knows their level. Maintain your level, stay at your lane. That's the unspoken word in polygamy. And this will lead us into the second theme of female oppression and patriarchy as well. I often say this, that females fuel patriarchy. I'm not here to judge or condemn anyone, but for patriarchy to survive, there must be a female element in it. And Lola, the writer of this book, did a great a great deal by showcasing that very well. You can imagine it in a home where there's a special seat for everyone depending on, is it the number of children they have, or when they start have bearing children, they'll have their seat. They have their different rooms. They have they share who sleeps with the man at night, in whose room, who sleeps in the Oga Bata's room. So this is giving the man more power, making him that more powerful, unreachable, because he's here and every other person is there, and they'll have to make do with themselves. And even there where they are, you will see that there is also that power play as well. The first wife, like I said, the first wife, the second wife, the third wife, everyone has their place, but it can rearrange sometimes. Now, the third theme I want to look at is education versus tradition. You see, the fourth and the last so far, because he may still marry another one, who knows? Bolanle, she is educated, and she is the only educated wife, and that made her the trophy wife, and that made her the envy of the other three. The other three were not as educated as she was. And so we see that her actions, her thoughts, her reactions, there is a difference as to the way the other wives react. What I continue to ask is, why don't these other wives emulate her, seeing that her life seemingly looked better than theirs? Better. Though they would disagree with me, because she didn't have it all, per se, as a married woman. But the envy, jealousy, greed, and all the negative energies that come with polygamy was already running deep within them, that they could not get above all those things to come and say, please, can I get better? And the fact that she was also way younger than them didn't help matters. It didn't. And so we see that actually there's always a difference between the educated, even in a traditional setting, where others are trying to follow tradition, whether tradition of family or tradition of society. We will see that there's always a difference, or almost always a difference, between the way the educated ones react and the ways the ones who are not educated react. It's no fault of either side of the table. It's no fault of theirs. But I am an advocate of be open to learning. So I always wonder, why can't you learn from this other person? Anybody can learn from anybody. You can learn from a small child. You can learn from an adult. Learning is actually not practical. Learning must not be from the oldest to the youngest having to learn from the oldest. It can actually be vice versa. And sadly, Baba Shegi's wives didn't understand that. Now let's go to the theme of family secrets, lies, survival. Why is it that every family, or almost every family, has a secret? And this secret is often known by some members of the family and not known by some members. I wonder why this always happens. In the case of Baba Shegi's wives, their secrets were their survival. And it was that secret that the presence of Bolanle in that house was threatening. And that was what they were fighting tooth and nail to keep. But in the process of trying to keep it, it led to many ugly things happening. And sadly, the loss of an innocent life. Very sad. I felt very bad at that point. Very, very bad, because that girl didn't deserve to die. She did it. She was that proverbial, when two elephants fight, the ground suffer. She took the brunt of what she knew it was happening, but she was just caught up in the middle, accidentally. Please, I don't want to spill, because it was so unfortunate. Okay, let's go to the theme of the significance of children in an African marriage, in a Nigerian marriage. Actually, I have heard, it's a hearsay, I'm not sure, that in some traditions, a woman has to get pregnant before she is officially and formally married. Like I said, I did not verify this information, but I won't doubt it. For the men, the presence, even for the women as well, the presence of children in the marriage signifies that the marriage is actually working. It signifies that the marriage is actually progressing. It's called fruit of marriage. It's like if it's not there, then it's more like the marriage is not complete. Let me put it that way. But I don't think that should be, it might not be in my place to say if I'm being honest. But like I said, I will always share my feelings. I always feel that children are wonderful, they are excellent, but they should not be the determinant of marriage. I know that the polygamous and the traditional and the cultural people will disagree entirely with me, but this is my opinion. It's my opinion, it's my perception. Okay, let's go into the characters. And I will start with Baba Segi, the Oga, the one that has the affluence and is respected everywhere, that before he comes home, everybody's scurrying about trying to put things in order, trying to make sure his food is ready, his chair is ready. Even if there's chaos going on in the house, his food must be there. They must serve him his food. Can you imagine? And he literally thinks that he's commanding his family. He literally thinks that he's the head, that he knows everything, that he's aware of everything happening in his house. For where? Please, let's talk about Iyashegi. Iyashegi, I hope I'm pronouncing it well. If I'm not, please correct me. She is that second in command of Baba Shegi's household. But I call her the commander-in-chief. You know why? Because they say that the husband is the head and the wife is the neck. And the neck actually turns the head wherever it wants to. That is Iyashegi. She was turning the household as she wanted. She literally controlled everything Baba Segi was doing, and the only thing that she could not control was his love for Bolanle and the way he treated Bolanle. Bolanle was his trophy wife, his only educated wife. Like, he had to carry her like a plaque to show everyone, like, this, I have won an award. Imagine me, an illiterate, wealthy man, finally got this hot, educated babe. Who can do that? That was the only thing the Yashegi could not control. I want to talk about the ways these women came into the lives of Baba Shegi, because there was no one straight love romantic story. Everyone had their own story. Iya Shegi, for instance, she was reluctant to marry him, but she was coerced into it by her mother so that she will not be the woman on the shelf and be the unmarried spinster. So she didn't get married out of love, out of butterflies in her tummy or whatever. That was how she came into his household. And let's talk about Iyatope. Iyatope came into Baba Shegi's house as more like a collateral, used as a payment. Her father is a farmer. He was supposed to be supplying Baba Shegi's foodstuff and something, and I think along the line something happened to the farm produce, and he couldn't supply, and in exchange for that, he had to be a human being. A human being. And that was how she came into his household. And she remained timid. She was portrayed as someone that had low self-esteem, could be people-pleasing, tossed about. I pitied her because Iyashegi and Iyafemi were having a field day with her. You remember I told you that there's a hierarchy, there's usually a hierarchy, right? But you can imagine that Iyafemi, who's the third, was walking over Iyatope. And she allowed it. Because if she didn't allow it, she would stand up and say, I'm the second wife, you're the third. You're supposed to respect me. But no, she couldn't get over herself. Everybody saw it and used it to their own advantage and to her own disadvantage. Iyafemi, she came from a very poor background and she saw an outlet through Baba Segi, so she ran to him and followed him, and she continued scheming even in the house. I will call her Iyashegi's minion because they too were the ones that always worked together, schemed together, planned and plotted together. On top of Iyatobe's head, Baba Shegi's head, Bolanle's head. She knew her place as the third wife, but she was walking over Iyatobe, and Iyashegi was kind of using her to also achieve her purposes. It's really a wonderful family. Really a wonderful family. Then let's talk about Bolanle, the educated, you know, the way she was portrayed in the picture. She's a lovely girl. And I was wondering why a lovely girl would want to get married into such a household. Not first, not second, not even third, fourth wife, not even in an educated household. Yeah, Baba Segi was wealthy, but it wasn't all that like shouting wealthy or kind of. But we will see that she was running away from something. She was running away from a trauma of her past. She was raped, got pregnant, removed the baby, sort of, and the trauma was still with her. It made her put herself so low that the only good thing she could have, or maybe where she could hide, was in such a household. But finally, I saw that her time in Baba Shegi's household was more like a healing process for her because she's finally left, and that was the highlight of the book for me because I was angry at everything they were doing at her. How could they be doing that to such an educated, beautiful girl? Man, I was happy when she left the household. Don't ask me why. The secrets that they were keeping is one of the reasons why she left. So Bolanle was actually the what brought about her presence, brought about the revolution that took place in that house. Education can do a lot. Really, education can do a lot. Because if Bolanle was uneducated, she would have been initiated into the secrets the other three carried, and it will continue. And the reflection showed that this sort of thing happens in so many families, so many families. There are so many secrets, so many happenings that the ears have not heard of that happens in different polygamous families where the man is doing his own thing and the wives are doing their own thing. And the family continues to thrive, to thrive. Children will grow, have their own families as well. Some, the secret dies with them even. Family dynamics. That was what Lola was trying to tell us in her book. It was a good read. Everyone had their ups and downs. And some overdid their own. Some overdid theirs as well. You wouldn't see that secret coming until later, and then you will begin to like, oh really? Oh really? Alright amigos, this is where we'll come to the end of this reflections on Lola Shonein's debut novel, Secret Lives of Baba Shegi's Wife. Alright, until next time. Bye.